How's it going, everyone? I am Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day, and welcome to today's Pokemon Go video. Okay, with Elite Raids going so horribly bad last week, a lot of players were wondering if Niantic would address the issues in any way. Well, it looks like Niantic is planning to do just that. I'm going to be talking about all of this in today's video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Alright, let's get right into it. So, in case you didn't know, we had Elite Raids for the legendary Pokemon Regidrago last week, and things went horribly bad for Pokemon Go players. There were a plethora of technical issues, which caused plenty of players to lose raid passes and waste a lot of time being unable to do those raids. Since plenty of players had such negative experiences, there was a call for Niantic to make it up however they could. Well, it looks like that is exactly what's going to happen, as Niantic acknowledged the issues, apologized for them, and pledged to make up for it. On Pokemon Go's official Twitter, Niantic stated the following: "Trainers, we apologize for this weekend's Elite Raid issues, and the impact they had on your experience. We're planning a way to make it up to trainers all over the world, especially those in the GMT plus 13 time zone. Please stay tuned for details." Okay, so what are my immediate thoughts? Well, I'm glad that Niantic at least recognized and acknowledged that players were unhappy about the Elite Raid situation. I'm also glad they specifically pointed out the GMT plus 13 time zone, as those players got the brunt of the issues. My only issue with this response is just how late it arrived. I mean, does it really take 4 days to formulate a response like this? Also, this doesn't really do anything for players who are the most affected. Niantic is simply stating their intent to make things right, rather than presenting actual concrete solutions. There's no other way to spin it. Elite Raids were a disaster for a lot of people. I think Niantic had a lot riding on Elite Raids doing well, so I'm sure they are going to go into full damage control for the next few weeks, leading up to the next Elite Raids. I mean, they have been pushing for a lot more outdoor gameplay and in-person raiding. This is probably because they are losing out on a lot of that sponsorship money because of remote raiding being the preferred method of raids. If they wanted to push more in-person raiding, then I'm sure Elite Raids was one of the ways they were planning to do that. However, I think the opposite effect happened. I've been talking to a few players whom I did the Elite Raids with, and some of them felt like it just wasn't worth it, even though they didn't have issues. They felt like it was a waste of gas and time going to these Elite Raids. Now, just imagine how players who had very negative experiences felt. Niantic is asking a lot from their players by making these raids in person only. Thus, they had a responsibility to make sure the experience was flawless. However, because it was full of so many problems, the community is having a very negative outlook on in-person raiding. I think if Niantic wants to push in-person raiding, they need to add more incentives for doing them. Rather than trying to force the issue with Elite Raids, make current in-person raids a lot more worthwhile. I mean, of course, we already have rewards that are exclusive to in-person raids, like Rare Candy XL, but they should add even more. I don't think anyone purposefully doesn't want to do in-person raids. The problem is that remote raiding is just convenient. They are fighting an uphill battle to get more people to attend in person. So if that is something that they want more of, which I imagine they do because of the sponsors and location data, they just need to make sure these in-person experiences are worth it. Niantic needs to recognize that something like Elite Raids takes a lot of effort to put together, and for people in rural areas, it is that much harder. By not having them be in a polished state when they are released, yeah, that is going to be disastrous for whatever they are trying to achieve. Going back to the apology, I think they need to expedite a proper makeup event or whatever they have planned. The longer this goes on, the more deflated players will feel regarding Elite Raids and in-person raids in general. I do think they can't just throw a makeup event. They should also provide a gesture of goodwill, whether it be free raid passes or bonus Rare Candy XL. Whatever they end up doing, I'll be pretty skeptical that it will do its job. Hopefully, this apology will produce something, because Niantic has a lot of ground to make up for how things went last weekend. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Leave your thoughts down below what you think about this whole Elite Raid fiasco. Do you think Niantic is capable of bouncing back? Let me know in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then be sure to check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.